JP, a lot of Josh Norman bashing this week. You were around the team in Redskins Park. What was it like for Josh this week?
Been a bit of a whirlwind for him, but he's a guy that handles it pretty well. You know, on Wednesday when really was kind of the peak of everything going on when he responded to Casserly's comments and D. Hall's comments, both of which I think came on your guys' show. You know, I think Josh kind of got a kick out of it a little bit. At least responding to Casserly, I think he took no issue with, and I think he handled that pretty well because it's kind of difficult for a guy of his stature, whether or not it's real or perceived, to hear that he's the third best corner, and kind of the way to shut that down is to take shots at your teammates, which he didn't do. He just said, well, those guys must be really good if I'm the third best. I thought he handled that well. The D. Hall stuff, I think it hit him a little bit more personally, just because he and D. Hall have a relationship, and that's kind of the story he told was, you know, D. Hall was on the plane that when I signed here. It seemed like he was legitimately surprised that D'Angelo was offering some pointed criticism. But I heard what D. Hall said yesterday with Dukes, and I think, you know, he wasn't trying to be overly critical. He was just telling what honestly a lot of us that have kind of known and seen Josh over the past few years all kind of noticed that his celebrity and his, you know, globe-trotting, all that stuff has become very important to him in his life. And Justin, maybe he's lost a little bit sight of, because when that guy was in Carolina, he was the most competitive, intense dude there was, focused on football. And I think, like anybody, as your life changes and your financial situation changes, maybe it changes what your intense focuses are day to day.
I thought his answer was kind of bizarre. He's put in a tough spot there. But, like, I was born Hollywood. I came out of the womb Hollywood or something. I didn't even kind of get that. I know he's trying not to be too defensive, I think, but I didn't really understand that. Can you interpret for us?
Well, Josh's answers are bizarre.
Yeah.
The running joke kind of in the Redskins media room is that nobody wants to transcribe a Josh Norman interview because a standard answer, you know, a standard question about, hey, what do you think about, you know, facing Christian McCaffrey this week, for just an example, will take 4.5 minutes and he'll interweave multiple references to, you know, safari animals have to hunt and what could happen in outer space. Like, every question can take a million different turns. And you know, guys that talk to Josh a lot are pretty used to that. And I think when one quote of his kind of blows up like that, it might seem a little weird. That's not a surprise at all.
Do you believe that there's 100% focus from Josh Norman during the week as he prepares for each game?
I'm not sure you can say that about a lot of the Redskins defenders. I'm not sure you can say 100% focus during the week for every NFL player. I mean, they got stuff going on.
That's true.
Wednesday night, just like
specifically with Josh, since we're talking about him.
Sure. I think when he's in meetings, that was kind of, you know, the stuff you hear is that maybe he's not fully focused in meetings and in practice situations, and that is when you start to really have some questions about where is the focus, because clearly in the Saints game, two of those blown plays, two of those blown coverages, and it wasn't just Josh. I think it's worth pointing out, you know, DJ Swearinger had a blown coverage as well, and that's a guy that is hyper-focused and is always just thinking about football. But two of those plays were, I mean, they didn't realize to check out of a coverage because the Saints lined up in a trips formation in what is the equivalent of English 101. I mean, for the secondary guys, they know this stuff going back to the first day of training camp, and to not recognize it and to let a receiver go by you thinking you have safety help and you don't is pretty remarkable. And I think that's what led to it. And maybe it was just, you know, to borrow the lame phrase, maybe it was just a brain fart. Maybe he just froze on that one play. It led to a conversation at halftime, led to the benching, and then the benching was even worse because Greg Stroman got torched the play the series he was in there for. Is he 100% focused? I don't know. I can't say for certain he is. I have heard players, coaches, whoever say that they'd like him to be more dialed in some meeting situations, and then, sometimes players will do film study on their own, those sorts of things, and all the position groups tend to hang out together. Josh, at times, has been a huge part of that, and at other times has been doing his own thing.